We've tested enough, don't you think?
I saw your reflexes, but how about your endurance? Let's give it a go, go, go!
So this game is essentially perfect. God, what a wonderful experience. Released the day it was announced for half price because they're madmen, Hi-Fi Rush is probably going to be my favorite game of 2023, and I would sacrifice Zelda altogether just to make Baldur's Gate 3 come out sooner. Beautifully marrying the gameplay of an adrenaline-pumping action game with the hyper-engaging focus of a rhythm game, this is one of those experiences where the player is forcibly immersed into playing via visuals, audio, and gameplay input. I can feel myself playing this game more than any other. The voice direction is genuinely perfect, visuals are gorgeous, characters charming, the writing is hilarious, it's so much fun! I can't say the game is objectively flawless, cause that's impossible, but it gets pretty damn close. And since I can't remember the last time a new IP utterly captured my heart this thoroughly, I just want to throw out a scattershot of ideas for a potential sequel because by God, this needs to be a franchise. Number 1. The only thing that prevents me from calling this the best action game of all time is that the protagonist Chai only has one weapon. I don't get that freeform exploration of flashy combos like I do from, say, Devil May Cry, because I can't swap between a sword/elemental nunchuck/demon motorcycle here. Which is especially glaring here because, obviously, additional weapons for Chai would be other musical instruments. And given how his attacks naturally blend into the background music as he's fighting, multiple weapons would turn him into a full rock band, bouncing solos off of each other. Taking that into consideration while designing combos would be the most satisfying thing ever. Jumping from guitar to a heavy bass line to a rapid drum solo, finishing with a crescendo of all three, it'd be so cool! An alternative could be giving Chai's sidekicks musical powers and making this a multiple playable characters kind of deal. They all become a band. Which I personally wouldn't prefer that because the impeccable balance of this cast is in no small part due to their need of Chai to be their frontline fighter.
All you do is hit things with a guitar.
But I'm really good at it.
Though to be clear, they should absolutely start a band either way. That would be adorable. Number 2. I absolutely adore the soundtrack of this game, but it is understandably mainly one genre of music, all operating at roughly the same BPM. And I get it, going too crazy with faster or slower tempos would make it harder to build a game-wide combat system, but having, say, certain abilities or enemies for Chai that alter the tempo in some way would be really cool. Speeding it up for a barrage of faster hits or slowing things down for some really heavy attacks. Which leads nicely into number 3. I desperately want the next game to be themed around some kind of battle of musical genres. Let me give a story pitch real quick. Spoiler warning for any tragically unfortunate plebs that haven't experienced this wonderful game yet. In one of the hilarious text logs found throughout the game, the mad scientist walking JoJo reference is gushing about the possibility of injecting alien superpowers into people. It's presented as a throwaway line, but it's fun, so why not for the sequel, Aliens? These invaders suddenly appear and start taking control of the world with their own version of musical powers. A sort of Pied Piper bewitching mind control kind of deal. Heavily orchestrated music as opposed to Chai's focus on rock music. Nothing the heroes try can stop this effect. Until, as a last-ditch effort, Chai does what he does best and has a terrible idea. In the post-game of Hi-Fi Rush, Chai had found an AI replica of the main villain, Kale, who had created a backup version of his mind control Spectra program that was about to go into effect. Chai prepares for an intense post-game final boss, until a cleaning robot accidentally unplugs the AI. But instead of destroying it, as anyone would logically do, Chai simply puts a post-it note telling people not to touch that plug. And on first impression, this presents an obvious sequel bait. Something plugs this back in for the return of Kale AI. But no, I propose this is Chai's only hope. To beat back the alien mind control, with mechanical mind control. Just before he's going to be bewitched, he rushes to the AI, plugs it back in, and Spectra's mind control completely cancels out the alien's effect. Kale isn't the final boss, he's the new Peppermint, because he doesn't have a choice. It's just Chai now. His friends have already fallen to the alien music, so now he has to go save them. Meaning there's a role reversal at play. Chai's allies take the role of several of the enemy bosses, while Kale, and maybe a few other AI replicas of the previous bosses, because why not, are now helping Chai. That would be more than enough for a bombastic sequel for me, but I want to take this a step further. Number 4, I think Chai needs a musical rival. An alien that uses these orchestra powers to contrast Chai's literal guitar shredding. And while it would be tempting to just do another traditional high and mighty Virgil kind of rival, I would absolutely adore if this was a love interest. There's a few reasons why. First, an easy way to frame this conflict is to parody the whole Christian fundamentalist "rock music is the devil's music" movement from decades ago, with the aliens playing the part of that movement, which would make this rival one of those prodigious, overprotected, Molly Mormon kind of individuals. And tying that kind of character with the doofus rebel with a heart of gold is just the best dynamic. Potential adorableness aside, I do have a deeper gameplay reason. If Chai had an equal rival, someone with similar powers as him, a duel between the two would result in battle themes that are constantly shifting genres, ebbing back and forth depending on who has the upper hand, which in of itself is already an awesome idea. But if this was someone whose allegiance Chai could shift to stand alongside him, those battle themes would start to work in tandem, the different genres building each other up instead of bashing each other down. And that level of musical storytelling sounds like one of the best things ever. And to be clear, Tango could do absolutely none of this. Hi-Fi Rush 2 could just be the return of AI Kale that the gang has to stop again, and it will be my favorite game of whatever year it comes out. This gameplay formula, the hilarious text logs, the meta humor, the wonderful characters, this game is tailor-made for what I love about this medium. I would adore some crazy ambition for the next game, but so long as I get more in some form, I will be delighted. It's a great game, please go play it, it's so much fun.